Why US lifted the pause on Johnson & Johnson single-shot COVID-19 vaccine? The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is not the only one to have raised concerns about rare blood clotting events. So what changes now? Last week, the US Food and Drug Administration and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention lifted the pause on the use of Johnson & Johnson single-dose vaccine, the only single-dose COVID-19 vaccine. Earlier in April, the company communicated to the Indian regulator its interest in beginning bridging clinical trials here. So why was Johnson & Johnson vaccine use paused? The pause came into effect after over 6 cases of a rare and severe type of blood clot were reported in people who were administered the vaccine. Most of these cases were noted in women between the ages 18 to 49 years. While its use was banned, the FDA and CDC examined data to assess the risk of thrombosis involving the cerebral venous sinuses or CVST, large blood vessels in the brain and other sites in the body, along with thrombocytopenia or low blood platelet counts. So what changes now? After the assessment, however, the FDA and CDC concluded that the vaccine is safe and effective in preventing COVID-19. Further, the FDA has said that the vaccine's known and potential benefits outweigh any risk in individuals 18 years or older. At this time, the available data suggests that the chances of TTS occurring is very low, but the FDA and CDC will remain vigilant in continuing to investigate this risk, the CDC said. Significantly, while the vaccine's use will resume in the US, a warning label will be added informing users about the occurrence of the rare blood clotting disorder. How does the vaccine work? This vaccine, called AD26.CoV2.S, uses some genetic material from the SARS-CoV-2 viruses. More precisely, it uses the genetic code to make the spike protein, the protrusions that can be seen on the surface of the virus. The spike protein is used by many vaccines since this is what the virus uses to bind with human cells and initiate infections. Once the vaccine is injected into the body, the goal is to trigger the immune system to make antibodies against the disease. But since vaccines do not consist of the entire genetic material of the virus, the viral genetic material cannot make people sick. Have any other vaccines faced similar concerns? The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is not only one to have raised concerns about rare blood clotting events. In March, several countries in Europe stopped the use of Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine after reports of blood clots surfaced. However, the European regulator and the WHO maintained that the benefits of the vaccine outweighed any risks and therefore was safe to use. Canada too suspended the use of AstraZeneca vaccine for use for those under the age of 55 years because of adverse event referred to as vaccine-induced prothrombotic immune thrombocytopenia, which is a combination of thrombosis and thrombocytopenia, in some cases accompanied by bleeding. However, last week Canada's National Panel on Immunization said that the vaccine could be used for those above the age of 30. Thank you.